Is that where your mic's gonna be?
This is where it's gonna be. Okay, this should be good.
Okay, that sounds okay.
All right, I can look at you guys
Whoa.
now.
Dang, I have to get really close to the mic. Look.
No, you were fine before. It just sounded louder.
It was a lot louder before.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, you do have to get closer then.
Yeah, get a little closer.
Just a little bit.
How does it sound now?
That should be probably
Sounds
good.
better, but I have to have it like in my mouth.
That's what
Okay.
she said. All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Overanalyzer, the podcast that uploads anytime we find something worth talking about. So we're talking about things that we actually care about. Today we're going to be talking about Army of the Dead from Zack Snyder, visionary director, and Amazon's newest TV show about superheroes, but what if they were different, called Invincible. All right, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. I'm Rogelio Delgado, Roger, whatever, and I talk too much sometimes. And then we have...
I'm Jose.
And tell us a little
boy.
bit about yourself. Okay, he's adjusting his mic stand, just in case you guys are wondering. It's probably
Okay.
gonna fall again. Anyway, tell us about yourself, Jose. All right, I said. So, what have you been up to?
Finishing school. That's
That-
what I've been putting off recording. So
Yeah, I get that. Anyway, so what do you guys, aside from like what we're going to talk about today, what have you guys been watching or like playing? You know?
I'm watching You're the Worst again. I'm finishing that. I watched Cruel Summer. I would not suggest that you guys watch it.
It's not good.
Well, I watched it in weekly releases, like
Okay.
every Wednesday, and then I was watching with my wife, and then once we finished it, I was like, man, that wasn't worth it. Like maybe if you binge watched it, but it just wasn't worth a weekly release.
Yeah.
Because there's that meme where it's like Amazon and Hulu releasing things weekly, and then Netflix is like, oh, here, I'm gonna release it all. You do what you want with it.
Yeah.
Like I get because that's how Invincible was. It released weekly, but I don't know. I feel like for some shows it works, and then for some it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the show. Some shows you want that week-to-week talk, like, oh my god, what are they going to do next episode? But like for other shows where they don't get talked about weekly, it's like, I just want them to release the whole thing. I just want to see if this is worth it.
Yeah, I guess it depends, because I guess it feels like not a lot of people talked about Cruel Summer, whereas most people talked about Invincible for obvious reasons. But I guess it just depends on what the media is.
Honestly, if Altered Carbon had been released weekly, I would never have finished it.
Dog, it was released all at once and I never finished the first season.
You didn't finish it?
No.
Really?
I don't know, I got annoyed.
You talked so much about it, and then
No, he did. I sold it.
That's a
Yeah.
I thought that was you.
I liked the first season. I saw the second one, and I was just like, because even after the first one, I was like, oh, this one was cool. But then after watching the second one, I just felt like there wasn't a need to make a second one, or like they kind of like were scraping for anything they could to make a second one,
Yeah. I feel like they kind of jumped the shark on that show when his sister came back and she was a ninja samurai. I was like, this is a little too Metal Gear Solid for me all of a sudden.
I mean, listen, I didn't get that far. I think I was literally I stopped literally the episode before that, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how the episode shaped up. But I will say that just by concept, on paper sounds like it's in line with the show, but maybe it just wasn't executed right.
I just think it was one of those things where you can't expect everybody to want to watch that show. Like, it's harder to keep watching something weekly or binging something if it's like a drama and there might be filler episodes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like a comedy, they're like a comedic show. Their only job is to not really push a narrative per se, but just make it funny.
Yeah.
And then I guess like plot comes second, or else it wouldn't be a comedy. But I feel like it's easier to watch comedic shows, like as you've done like millions of times, because you don't like watching new stuff.
Yeah, no. I bought The Office on Blu-ray.
How many times have you watched How I Met Your Mother?
I mean, I haven't seen it in a while, but the times I was rewatching it, just too fucking many.
I mean, it's
4
like
to
enough.
5.
He went through a breakup, so he watched it enough times.
You know
Didn't we
how it is,
all?
Jose?
Didn't we all?
No, you'd have to date somebody to go through a breakup.
All right,
Bro.
so what are we gonna talk about first? 3, 2, 1.
Army
Army
of
of
the
the Dead,
Dead.
which Raji didn't see, so this is gonna be
No.
mostly a discussion between me and Jose.
Yeah.
Can you step outside, please?
No.
Please.
No. This is my podcast, too. I'm not going to let you take ownership of this shit, okay? I have just as much to say in this.
All right, so we're just gonna mute his audio and post, and then you might
Sounds
hear
like a
us
plan.
referring to a third person, but they're not really there.
No, but you can't do...
All right, so how did the movie start off? When they're like
the room.
when they're transporting something out of Area 51.
Yeah, they're transporting something. It turns out it's a zombie,
So here's the thing: they're
Uber,
transporting it,
an Uber zombie.
and then in the air you see two spaceships where it's two lights, and they just like travel fast, and supposedly those are aliens.
Is that really what that is?
Yes, there's like a picture that showed like aliens. Because here's the thing: it's like aliens, zombies, robots, and then time travel or like time loops or some shit like that. And I saw that before I watched the movie, so I was like, is that all going to be in the first movie? But no, it's more like Easter eggs or like Easter eggs for like further projects or something like that. But I wasn't per se upset, but I did expect certain things after seeing that. So
this is the first one, right? That of whatever in this universe, right?
so yes, it's the first one, and then they're making a prequel, and then I think an animated prequel, and then they want to try to do a sequel. I don't know how for sure the sequel is, since what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna get that going.
So after that, the zombie breaks out. We don't really know what it is. And then they call the person like, hey, the payload was like compromised. He's like, get the fuck out of there. And then the zombie comes down and starts like killing people. And then it's the montage. I like the montage. It was like pretty good. It's like tells a little short story and a little bit of backstory for certain people, like the little introductions. So that was cool.
I did appreciate the montage. I honestly, I wish that they had gone through I guess it's going to be in the prequels, right? The events that led up to the heist, right? Like how they had to seal off Las Vegas and the various characters' backstories. And I wanted to find out what happened with that lady and her kid right up until they got smashed by that shipping container.
Yeah, I thought they were going to be an important part. And then when I saw this, I was like, oh.
Yeah,
okay.
I was like, oh, this character seems kind of cool. And he's like, oh my God, her daughter. And then they just got demolished. They got pancaked. I was like, what just happened?
But yeah, what it looks like in the montage is they're just like rescuing people inside of Las Vegas, and then like, oh, you're bit, boom, boom, remorseless, just killing people, trying to stay safe. And then that's how it ends, is the lady gets crushed, and then the movie starts, and then there's like life outside of Las Vegas because they sealed it off, and it seems like certain people are just like, well, I'm still poor.
Yeah.
So, do you have any thoughts?
Well,
questions, concerns?
My quick question. I guess are we doing spoilers out the gate or?
Oh, we kind of did that.
Yeah. We
just went over the intro.
Well,
let's give a quick review.
All
right,
quick
Jose,
review. What do you guys think?
What would you rate it and why? What do you think? Honest opinion that we'll tear apart in a bit.
Yeah.
I give it a 7
out
of 10. Okay. I give it a 7 out of 10. It's a fun movie. It has a lot of cool things that happen in it. The action sequences are good. To me, I don't know. I didn't like the zombie heist premise. I don't know. I don't know why I didn't like it, guys.
Would you recommend it to somebody else?
I would recommend somebody watching the movie, like just as like a, like, I don't know. It's a good movie for somebody to watch, like just as a whatever movie. Like if you're looking for something like, oh, I really want to like get into something deep, like something heavy. Like this is not that kind of movie. Like this is a fun movie.
I think you misinterpreted the movie, and you're too dumb to understand that it actually was deep, and that there was a whole lot of like hidden messages. But that's just my opinion. I said, what do you
that would be a really good thing for you to have said if you'd have watched it. If you'd have fucking watched it.
So I like the movie. I'd give it probably like an 8. I do think it is a fun movie. I would say it'd be hard to recommend somebody to watch it because it was like over 2 hours, I think, right?
It was pretty long.
So I feel like for it being that long, it doesn't make it bad. It just makes it hard to kind of convince somebody to watch it, aka my brother, who has not watched it. The 2 weeks we talked about it.
People got short, attention spans,
It's not even that.
I'm just saying life is busy, dude,
It's not necessarily even like attention spans because I sit down and watch other things for like hours. It's like specifically YouTube. I don't know.
It's because YouTube videos are shorter and you can watch more. It's like
it's less of an investment and it's easier to spend 2 or 3 hours doing that.
Like I get that, but
it's easy to spend 2 hours watching 20 videos than it is watching one.
Like I get
continuous thing. Yeah.
But at the same time, this is considered work without pay, and it was your job to watch the movie. So
listen, I wanted to watch it. I just never got
So
around.
probably
Okay.
for like the next 10 minutes, we're just gonna keep roasting Roger while we talk about this movie.
So Jose gave it
That's
a
fine.
7. He said he'd recommend it because it's a fun movie. He didn't know about the zombie heist premise. I think it's a fun movie. 8 out of 10. Hard to recommend for the runtime, which doesn't fault it in any way.
But it's
now,
an investment.
Yeah, it's a bit of an investment, especially since they're making more movies. But I feel like that might make it a little more worthwhile. Now, give me a blind review. Have you seen any trailers? What
Yes,
have
of
you
course.
heard?
I've seen trailers and I've heard a couple of like spoiler things. I've always been a fan of Batista since like the WWE days, and it's nice to see him in movies. And
you know what? I didn't like the relationship between, like the dynamic between him and his daughter in the movie.
Maybe it's not because it wasn't written well, but maybe he just didn't do well,
conveying it.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I feel like this role for Batista is a bit more expansive compared to his other stuff.
There's something that he can chew on more.
Yeah, because he's had for sure. Because he was the leading role, not just like a side role. Because like in Marvel, he's Drax, so it's a bit more simpler. I feel like because
Yeah.
he's not the main thing, and it's easier to catch attention, not having to
Yeah, he has
carry
more
a
time to
load.
prepare for his parts versus being the main
honestly,
part.
I didn't think it was bad on his part. I thought his acting was pretty good. I actually thought it was the daughter.
Oh, so the actress.
The
Yeah, the
actress.
actress.
So you don't think it was anything in the writing, whatever you think, the actress wasn't good at conveying her side of that relationship?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, I feel
Yeah.
like he says it's the actress. I feel like maybe it was the way it was written.
Okay.
Because, like, she conveys that, like, oh, everything's your fault, but I'm not giving you a chance. Or they never really communicated that well, so maybe it is the way it's written, but maybe you're supposed to feel that way. I don't know. It is, not particularly too relatable, I guess, because of what happens. So, all right, so what would you give this? A blind review? From what you've heard, what you know,
Definitely
what you
interested in watching it. If the stars align, I'll watch it.
numbers.
He's not gonna watch it.
From 1 to 2,
1
I'll
to
give
10.
it a 2.
1 to 10.
From 1 to 10, I'll give it a median score. How about 6.5? No, wait, 7.5.
That's fine. Okay. So, the part that I'd like to begin at is the what's it-
recasting.
No, recasting. Oh yeah, they recasted Crystalia.
Also,
character.
Jose, real quick, I want to ask you: could you tell who was the one that was recast in that whole like lineup?
Yeah,
Because we both
who
know.
was recasted?
Who could you tell was like just
Who
added
didn't
in
feel
and, like,
right out of the heist members?
Who felt like they were edited in?
I'll give you a hint.
No, don't give him a hint. Just ask him.
Um,
It was definitely a person.
It was a person for sure.
definitely a person. The guy that they had to tag along.
Okay, so no.
No.
Not
It
him.
I'm
No?
gonna-
Okay,
I'm
hold
gonna-
on. Let me try one more time.
Okay,
Was
one more
it?
time and I'll
Actually,
give
we
you a
will
hint.
give you one hint.
No, one more time and I'll give you a hint.
Okay. Otherwise, I kind of felt like the safe breaker was a little off.
Okay, so it's a woman.
Okay. Was it the pilot?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, she was digitally added, and they removed Crystalia's character because that was his character. And I feel like you could tell because of the lines that she says, the actress Tig. Imagine Crystalia saying them. I'm like, oh, that sounds like those would fit well with how he acts or like his character because you know how he talks. So
Yeah, of course.
I mean, you wouldn't know, you didn't see it, but
No, I know, but I've seen it stand up and stuff. And seen him in
but
other
yeah,
stuff.
the character that Tig played, it seemed like enthusiastic. The pilot, like, oh, I miss my friends, this and that, like kind of like comedic bits in there. And I feel like maybe they removed some things because it didn't feel right since it wasn't like since she's not really a stand-up comedian, I don't think. Mostly,
She's a comedian, but I don't know if she does stand up.
or in that aspect because he was a stand-up comedian. So yeah, he got removed for his
Sexual assault allegations and messaging minors and maybe having had sex with minors.
so yeah, it
Because,
seemed a
like,
bit dodgy.
Damn.
If it sounds familiar, season 2. I forgot what his name was, but yeah, it's
Okay, yeah, that's right. He wasn't that.
you're holding it too close.
My bad.
So I was watching it and I thought something was wrong with my TV. I was like, there's a dead pixel on my screen. Is it my TV? Did you see it?
No, I didn't see it.
Really?
I guess I wasn't paying that much attention to.
No, it wasn't
part.
the whole way, but it was in some aspects. So I was like, maybe one of the cameras, but I don't know because on some of the episodes of Southdown, I think it's like episode 3 or 4.
Southdown
no,
is
it was
our,
episode 5. I used my Lumix G7 and I noticed I think it had like a dead pixel in some areas. Oh, maybe that's what it is. In certain areas, it had a dead pixel. And
By
I
the way,
think
Southdown is our series that you can watch on the same channel. Go ahead and give that a view, and that'd be good if you guys watched it. Thank you.
Also,
so. Yeah, it had a
need to
dead
have
pixel, and then that's when I was like, maybe it's a dead pixel. And then the more the movie went on, I was like, maybe it is a dead pixel and it's not my TV because you're holding it too close.
Am I? Okay.
But yeah, I thought it was a dead pixel, but I looked it up and I was like, oh, okay, it's just a movie.
Huh. So other people
Yeah.
are like, what's with that one shit?
Well, it was
I
to
didn't
the
even
point
notice.
where I looked it up.
Honestly, I didn't notice.
Yeah.
Huh.
I didn't even notice.
All right.
I did feel
That
like,
just means you got that trash ass resolution, dog.
bruh, I am only at 1080.
All right. Full spoiler warnings. So we're past the intro. Basically, Batista, wishes he works at a burger joint, so he's not making the most money. So he wishes,
Right.
he made more money. This Asian dude's like, I got a proposition. You steal me this money. Take your crew, this and that. So then Batista goes to that one lady. I don't remember what her name was, but I'll put her on screen here. But it's this lady. I'll enter the name that he was close with, and then he's like, oh, we should get paid for all the work that we did. It's kind of like they were mercenaries, but they didn't, live like a luxurious lifestyle for all the dangers they took. And then that other actor who I thought was common for a second, I forgot what his name was.
I forget his name.
He was
too, but I
in
know who you're
Kick-Ass
talking
too. He was he was in Kick-Ass. He was the other cop. But yeah, homeboy had like a chainsaw ripping through people, the zombies. So that's like his main weapon.
I don't think that's. Wait, was it a chainsaw or was it a circular saw?
It was a giant
It was
circular like cement saw.
Yeah, that. Yeah.
It was either cement saw or
Yeah, it's a cement.
one
saw.
of those
I've used that.
firefighter saws. Anyway, so they get their crew, and then I think the dude was a bit reluctant, the guy with the saw, because he wasn't too sure about, going back in there. He's like, I saw people's faces. I can't kill people. It's just very.
So real quick, since we are in spoiler, I remember we're about to watch the behind the scenes of the movie, and you're like, wait, you haven't seen this movie? You're gonna get spoilers, and I was like, does everyone die at the end? And then you just started playing it.
Yeah.
It's because I think I saw that's also the thing is I gotta stay off Twitter, just in general, because I was scrolling through and people were talking about the movie, and they had I could be remembering it wrong, but they had basically the characters and then their dead bodies after they got burnt up or fried or some shit like that.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, cool. So they're all dead. So they didn't get away with it.
So yeah. Scott Ward, his backstory is that during the zombie breakout, he went home and then saw that his wife was infected. Sad moment. Then he had to kill her. Well, he didn't do it right away. He was really reluctant, but then he just had to kill her. And then the door that his wife was banging on was his daughter's, Kate, daughter's door. And then that's when you find out, oh, that's his kid, because she works at the refuge and shit for people that get extracted out of there. But what is it? The camps, they just sit there because they don't have anywhere to live? It's a quarantine zone.
Okay.
Yeah, but basically, her main motivation, the daughter's, is that she watches this lady and her kids because she volunteers there. And then the lady's like, I need to get so-and-so $1,000 to get my kids up to Barstow or Fresno or some Bakersfield. No, I want to say it's Barstow.
All that shit's the same.
But yeah, that's the lady's motivation. She's not really a main character, but that's translated into the daughter's motivation is that she cares. And then that lady's like, oh, I'm gonna go in there to try to get some money together to get us out of here. So she kind of risks her life, and then she goes with the coyote. And then the next day, well, not the next day, after the crew's put together and the Asian guy's like, oh, here's my guy, this and that, you're gonna fly in through the helicopter. And they play that montage, and it's like, oh, it'd be that easy, but just so you could see the action. So some parts are a bit misleading in the trailer, when they break the safe.
Yeah.
So they get a guy named Dieter. What is he? He's German?
No, he's Swedish or something.
Swedish?
Right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dieter's the safecracker who's going to be in the prequel Army of Thieves.
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter that apparently that's going to be in development.
So yeah, it's Scott Ward, Vanderho, the guy with the saw, Maria Cruz. They get Dieter, and then Lily's the coyote, so she gets him in there. And then Bly Tanaka is the Asian guy who's had the proposition. Then he gets his guy Martin to go with him. He's like, oh, he comes with you, and you need anything, you get him. And then you could tell from the start that the Martin security guy, he's like sketchy, you know?
Yeah.
Obvious. And then they get Mariana, which is Tig, the pilot. They get this dude Mikey Guzman, who like just goes in there and blows up zombies, like he's like viral on Reddit or some shit, which is weird. And then he brings like 2 homies. One's a girl, one's a guy. And then he's like, oh, you know, they're going to take part of my cut, but I want them with me. And then Scott's like, all right. And then the plan's explained. And then the dude's friend is like, what? You guys are going in there for zombies? You guys are real? It's like, you guys are all going to die. And then he just books it. And then he's like, all right, whatever.
Hey,
and
smart man right there.
You could tell he's like a
Yeah.
bunch of fucking amateurs. I mean, in hindsight, it sounds like a good idea. But then it's like, oh, there's a helicopter on top of the roof. It's like, how long has that been there? Will it still work, you know?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what the pilot's for. Like, while they're there, get that thing working, and then we'll book it.
How did that helicopter get there?
Maybe it landed and somebody got off, and then it just stayed there.
But it was old though.
Yeah, it's like a medical helicopter. So, getting into the zombies, the zombie at the beginning who escaped, it never says his name, but he's like the alpha. That's where it came from. And there's some talk that maybe he's like a bit of alien origin because of the blue baby.
Oh yeah.
So Zeus gets a queen, and the queen zombie is called Queenie, and she's pregnant. And then later on, when she dies, he reaches into her and then like pulls out like a blue baby, which is like weird as fuck.
Yeah.
So I guess that's where the alien thing comes in. So yeah, they go in there. They sacrifice the security guard. What's his name? Burt Cummings, who's like a rapist or something at the quarantine zone because
Jesus.
he's like a security guard.
Who's the actor that plays him?
His name is no, that's not it.
Jamie, pull it up.
Theo Rossi.
Let me
Jimmy,
see.
can we get that on the screen real quick?
Theo Rossi. He sounds like he's
Oh,
a.
Theo Rossi, yeah. He was in
Yeah.
he was in Luke Cage.
That's right.
With
I've seen him.
shades.
I've seen him in a couple other things.
He's also he's in a couple of things, yeah. Fuck, I forget what else. I know I've seen him in Luke Cage. And that, was he in Shot Caller? No, he wasn't. Was he?
I don't know.
Fuck, he's been in a bunch of other things. I know that. No, wait, hold on. Shit.
All right, so to make a long story short, the security guy is in there for Tanaka because he was working with the coyote and going like, oh, like they worked in agreement where he would get a blood sample of one of the alpha zombies and that she would or that he would release or like find shelter for the people in the quarantine zone.
Yeah.
But then he cuts off the head and she's like, what the fuck? Because like they have rules with the alphas that like if you give them a sacrifice that you'll be left alone just as long as they have rules. Like there's rules in there. There's
Also,
alphas.
he was in what's it called Sons of Anarchy. By the
Don't
way,
cut my
also.
bit.
That's right.
So there's alphas and then the shamblers.
who did he play in Sons of Anarchy?
Sorry, go
Oh,
ahead,
he
Sal.
played Juice.
Yes, go ahead, Asel.
No, I'm done.
No, come on.
So the security guy cuts the head off and then Zeus hears her screaming. So he's like on the hunt. So that's their main problem is the zombies trying to catch him. Their first problem was, going in there. Their second problem was the security guy being sketchy and like you can't trust him. And then the third problem was the fact that, the zombie Zeus and then, trying to get out of there. That's another problem.
Yeah.
So there's problems on problems. In the montage, it seems like it was a good idea. Point blank, they get to the casino and then they start setting up. And then along that way, that one lady died, Chambers, with the bandana. Because that one dude, she was like, oh, I'm on to you. And then he, throws a glow stick because they're going through a bunch of zombies. And it's like, go fuck yourself. And then because of that, she dies. She puts up a fight for, I don't know how long, 8 minutes, maybe 5.
Yeah.
And, it was pretty cool. She's just stabbing zombies, killing them. But then eventually they become too much. And then her homeboy just blows up her gas tank because they're carrying gas tanks for the helicopter.
Yeah.
And then she just blows up. But, yeah.
God damn.
So example one way you can't trust the dude. So they get to the safe and then the Dieter, he takes a while trying to unlock the safe, and he only has a few attempts before it locks him out. Eventually he is able to open the safe. They got the power on. And then their main problem, so here's another problem.
Yeah.
The helicopter's not starting, and then they find out because Las Vegas was going to get nuked the next day. And then they're like, the 4th of July, it's like, no, we'll move it back. We'll nuke it that day, the day that they're there. So they have an hour to get out.
Oh, okay.
Because they're going to nuke Las Vegas to get rid of all the zombies. So they have a ticking clock.
Yeah.
So because of the dude's actions, Zeus gets all of his, homeboys, and they raid the casino.
Yeah.
Oh, and the daughter, the reason she went in there was because she was trying to find the mom. So she's another issue because she wants to go into the Olympus where Zeus and all of his zombies are. So it's really dangerous because they don't kill him. I guess they like sacrifice him or turn him.
Right.
So they're in a room.
Oh, right. Yeah, I saw that scene in the behind the scenes.
Yes. So they all die one by one once the zombies raid the casino. The guy, what's his name, Vanderho, he gets thrown into the safe by Dieter, and then Dieter dies. They're trying to, and then there was this comparison with Zeus the zombie, that he looked like Batman because he had like a little cape, and then he had like a mask, and the mask was like to deflect bullets.
Oh,
So that was kind of
okay.
smart. But I'm like, bro, just shoot his chest, because he was like boom blocking bullets with his head because he had like a.
Well, that's because the bullets to the chest wouldn't kill him.
I guess
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true. Zombie, head off, or
Yep.
blown up.
But yeah, to make a long story short, everybody dies.
Cool.
At first, it looks like Lily and Scott Ward, Batista, are going to make it out, but then Lily gets stabbed with a harpoon by Zeus and then drops Queenie's head because I guess she took it from the other guy, and then the CGI tiger kills him. So she throws the head, it splats, and he's like pissed as fuck, but he already speared her, and then, she's already dead. They take off to go save the daughter. He gets down, Zeus follows, and the helicopter's gone. Tig comes back, they fly away, but Zeus gets in there, and then the whole problem is the fact that they're getting out of there. I think the engine's shot or something like that. They barely get out of there, but they took Zeus with them, so it's like that's another problem. He left Las Vegas, and he was the one that started all that until they contained it.
Damn.
And then the pilot dies, the daughter's still alive. I think the other lady's still alive, the one that she went in there to rescue for her kids. And then Zeus finally dies because I think Scott like blows his brains. And when his brains get blown, you can see like blue, like
Yeah.
that's where I think the alien thing came from.
Huh.
So Scott got bit, so he turns, and then the daughter kills him. But he handed her a stack of money that they got from the carts. When they transfer money to the casino.
Damn, Jose's falling asleep
Yes.
right now.
Yeah, it's because he's not talking.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then at the end, Vanderho's alive. He escapes, goes to New Mexico, checks that he has a bite, and he's like, oh, damn. And then the movie ends. Basically, everybody dies. So I found the movie to be pretty interesting. It's just, I don't know. I felt like I expected a lot, and I was missing quite a bit. What did you think, Jose?
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't like the heist. I think anybody.
Is it because you're tired of heist, or you wanted something different?
Or is it because you couldn't get behind the lack of logic?
Yeah.
I feel like that's what you get hung up on. Is if you find like you suspend your disbelief, except for very specific things.
Is it because you didn't feel like they really needed the money, or?
I mean, I guess they could have gotten the money, but it's like it doesn't make sense. Like all these people, they're risking their lives when the whole place is about to get nuked. Like there's just a lot on the clock.
Hold on, question.
you
Did
know?
they know that beforehand?
They didn't know it was going to get nuked until they were already in the casino getting the money out and getting the chopper ready.
No, they knew it was gonna get nuked.
It was going to be nuked the day after, though.
Yeah.
That's where they're like, oh, we got a whole
They thought
day.
they had plenty of time.
Yeah.
But things change.
The president's like, oh, and it sounds like very Trumpy. The president's like, oh, as cool as it would be to nuke that place on 4th of July, like, we're just going to move it back. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what got you hung up on that is
The heist.
that there was a
Honestly,
time crunch.
That's the whole premise of the heist was just kind of weird to me. Like they're going. It's like why would you go back into Las Vegas after an event like that, right? And it's like a whole butt ton of money, and I was like,
I feel like it's
like,
not
really?
anything more than just money. I want to say it's maybe like these people don't feel like they're living luxurious lives and they want like a bit of a change. Like even that one lady, I think her name was like Mariana or something like that. She was like, yes, this and that, because she wanted to do it for Scott, Batista, because she liked him. And then her neck got snapped.
Damn.
Remember her neck got snapped and then the spine stuck out?
that was pretty crazy.
Yeah. And then me thinking that it's a time loop movie, I was like, oh, it's fine. But then towards the end, oh, that's it. They're all actually dead.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so you have a hard time believing that people would risk their lives like that for money.
Yeah. But even if I could, so I got past that, and that's why I still managed to enjoy the movie for the most part.
Okay. I mean, just because, like, I think just that sentence is like, oh, well, that makes sense. If the money's good enough, yeah, people will do dumb things. Hell, even if the money isn't good enough, sometimes they'll do dumb things.
I feel like I like it. It's a fresh take on zombies, just because with most zombie movies, I think we can agree their main objective tends to be survival. But since it's in Las Vegas, there's no need for survival since they mostly got everybody out and they locked it up. So their motivation is trying to find riches inside of, hell, basically.
I mean, what's funny is that it's set in Las Vegas, and people do that shit in Las Vegas without zombies. They risk
everything,
their
in
entire
Vegas.
life savings and shit.
Oh my god.
For the possibility of getting rich, even though the odds are literally against you.
Maybe that's
Vegas.
A little bit of a metaphor for that.
I think
movie.
it's a bit of an on the nose kind of a thing right there. It's like, well, they're in Las Vegas, and for the zombies to be in
maybe
Las
that's
Vegas.
a video essay comment, giving too much credit.
Nerd writer.
Damn, dude.
But even then, I feel like that's what the movies are for.
Yeah. All right. So, did we already give a final score? My question for you is, what exactly were you expecting more out of this movie?
Well, it's because I saw there was a post from Comedian Cinema, I guess it's not DC anymore,
Sure.
on Instagram where it's like, oh, zombies, obviously, robots, aliens, and then time loops. Because there's a mention of a time loop because, like, there's 3 dead zombies down in the vault that are 3 people of what, like, they're wearing right now. It's like Tig, Mariana, and then I want to say Scott, and they're wearing the same clothes.
Yeah.
I was like, is this a time loop movie? But, to come to find out, it's just an Easter egg. So I expected certain things, and I didn't really realize the robots because I didn't want to spoil it for myself too much, but, I saw what I saw.
Yeah.
And there was a part when that one guy, Mikey Guzman, shoots a zombie, and then its head blows up, but it's like sparks. So it's a robot. So come to find out that Zack Snyder is like, oh, maybe the robots, they developed into zombies, or maybe they fused, or maybe it's like the government sending in zombie drones to like monitor stuff. So, I don't know. It leaves a lot of open questions.
You thought it was gonna be a whole big like balls to the wall like crazy concepts in one movie. They come to find out it's pretty straightforward, and the other things were Easter eggs.
Yeah, I think for the most part, the only thing that I really kind of leaned on was the fact that it maybe was a time loop in some way.
Yeah.
But I guess I was kind of reaching for that or hoping for that. But I guess it made me see the movie in a different way also.
All right, so final thoughts, guys.
What did you think about Army of the Dead other than the heist plot? Is there some things you like, some things you didn't like, some things you wanted to go more in depth to?
What is it? The guy that they send in with him?
The security guy?
The security guy.
Sons of Anarchy guy.
No, that wasn't the guy. Wait, was he in Sons of Anarchy?
No, I thought you were talking about
the rapist
Rossi.
dude.
Oh, the rapist dude. Yeah, he was in Sons of Anarchy. But I'm talking about the security guy, like...
Oh, Martin, the white guy?
The white guy, the one
The
that...
Tanaka?
Yeah, that Tanaka sends in with them.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Why are you even talking?
Because I know some of the actors, but I don't know all of them.
I don't know. I'm not sure, like I mean, I knew from the beginning, like, his whole role was going to be kind of, like, to do some shady shit during the whole heist and stuff.
Oh, wait, no. I know who you're talking about. The guy that got eaten by the tiger, right?
Yeah, that guy.
That guy. Fuck, what was he in? He was in Dawn of the Dead.
Was he in Dawn of the Dead?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like... the things that he did just weren't, I don't know, like they advanced the plot, but you know what, I don't know what else to say. That's all I got. I just said a bunch of bullshit.
What about the cinematography, like in the way it was shot with like a shallow depth of field in certain scenes and stuff like that?
I didn't.
Like, how do you guys feel about that aspect of the movie?
I liked it. It was a bit more interesting. Not interesting, but like different.
Okay.
I guess that's the main grab that I grabbed from that movie is it's just, it feels different. It feels a little fresh, even though it is a zombie genre movie. It feels like it isn't typical, or maybe like the typical stuff's already involved. Like, there's so many zombie movies that we've seen that they have their own set of rules, so you don't have to really introduce stuff like that, compared to movies like futuristic movies or shows like Altered Carbon, where they have to tell you the rules, or like they have to tell you the things that are important so you know. So
Right.
yeah, I feel like it's a bit different. I just started watching, or I tried watching Resident Evil and tried to watch all the movies to see like what the big fuss is about. Because I don't think I've ever like followed it upon it, but I wanted to see if there was something I was missing.
Yeah. I think the big fuss with Resident Evil is more the video games and the movies.
Oh
Because
yeah.
most Resident Evil fans don't actually really like the movies.
All right. So final thoughts. Same as before. Fun movie, hard for the runtime, but at the end of the day, I feel like it's worth a watch, and maybe worth a watch if you want to watch the prequels and then
I'm
The,
definitely
the
going to watch
sequels.
it at some point, for sure. I plan on it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter anymore.
All right, moving on. So
Now
things,
we have to talk about our sponsors.
no. So things
Okay.
that we might want to talk about. Shows that we've been watching. There's actually a concept. Have you seen Love, Death, and Robots?
The first season.
Well, then there's a new season out now.
Yeah, new season's out. It's less episodes. My favorite one was Pop Squad. I showed you guys that, no? Pop Squad?
No.
From
I
the
haven't
first
seen
season or
new
the second season?
The second season, Pop Squad. Remember
Oh,
he
yeah,
kills
the one where
babies?
they're like killing babies, yeah.
It's like noirish.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
So yeah, watching something like Love, Death, and Robots. I like the first season. I showed you guys the Keela Drift one. Remember where the guy gets lost in space?
Yeah, and then he
Yes.
ends up like fucking like an alien with like tentacles and shit.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't show that, but there was this news about like Star Wars making an anime series that's like anthology, and I thought that'd be a cool idea just because. Watching Star Wars, you always follow the main story of Star Wars. The world ending thing.
Skywalker saga. Yeah.
Yeah, the Skywalker saga, which is like the only main thing important in Star Wars for the movies. And I feel like an anthology thing would be cool because maybe you can introduce more things or like other stories. Like
Yeah.
there was this game that they were gonna make for Star Wars that like you run in Coruscant Underground, like a thief and shit.
That
But,
shit
the game
sounds fun.
the game got canceled or like it was stuck in development hell and it never came to be. But stuff like that's interesting just because it's more off.
It
the main
expands
premise.
the world. It's
Yeah, it
like,
expands the world.
yeah, it makes it feel bigger and like more lived in and almost more realistic because of that. Because it's like, oh, it feels like the actual world where there's a history here. This happened here, the Mandalore Wars, and then the start of the High Republic, and then how back in the day before the Sith came out, with their one apprentice, one master rule. Because if there's too many Sith, then like it was all about like balance and shit.
Yeah.
I've been watching Warrior on HBO Max, which is, I guess, based on the writings of Bruce Lee. And it's like, it tells a story of like, a Chinese immigrant in San Francisco area in Chinatown and like all the crime that happens there. And then also like, the racism that is experienced in that time because, yeah, that happened. All the Irish people. And then it's set in like post-Civil War. So, like, the wounds of the Civil War are still fresh. Like, there's this new cop that joins the police force there, and he's, like, from the South. He's like, I'm from Savannah, Georgia. What's funny is you can tell his accent, like, Southern accent isn't great. You're like, what fucking accent is that's peeking through?
Yeah.
He's English. I'm like, they can't do all the accents, motherfuckers. But it's really cool. The action choreography is great. There's a whole bunch of boobies on it because it's originally from Cinemax, but I think HBO got the distributing rights, and they might do more seasons. But yeah, it takes place in that era, and there's like it's not heavily subtitled because obviously all those Chinese immigrants didn't just speak English, but it does a good job. Like whenever there's a white character, it does the subtitle like Chinese or whatever. But as soon as they leave, the camera like pans around, and it's almost like a transition, and you hear them being like, "Yeah, but that fucking white lady got a big old ass though, huh?" and shit. And I don't know. So far, it's been pretty cool. I like it. The guy that plays Sub-Zero in the new Mortal Kombat movie is in that.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's pretty
Nice.
good. The action's good. The writing so far seems pretty great. The production's awesome. And yeah, the only thing is that like apparently through the show's lens, there's only white people and Asian people in San Francisco, and I'm like, dog, where's the Hispanics?
And
They
all
were
the black
there.
People.
Huh?
And the black people.
I don't know. That's fine. No, I mean, yeah, obviously them too.
So any shows you've been watching?
Um.
How's the Expanse?
You already asked him that.
No, I didn't.
Like last podcast. No.
That was the last podcast.
Oh shit.
Any
I
new
think the
stuff?
last podcast I had already finished watching everything that's come out so far. And,
For The Expanse, didn't like the fans like fly a banner to like get them continue doing the show or something?
At some point I think they did because
They
Sci-Fi
canceled
dropped it.
Oh, they dropped it and
Yeah.
Amazon picked it up?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, I think Amazon's done a pretty good job with it. There's one more season that's supposed to come out, and then that's it.
Damn. Hey, have you guys been keeping up with the news about The Boys?
No.
Not really.
So I guess they cast someone to play Soldier Boy in there,
Uh-huh.
which is like the Captain America analog.
Yeah.
And they're kind of basically adapting the comic book arc Herogasm, where in the comics. You've heard it, right?
No.
But apparently, here's the thing. Shut the fuck up. But apparently, here's the thing. Sorry. They're not going to do the... Huh?
Too close.
They're not going to do the thing where Soldier Boy sleeps with Homelander. That
Okay.
aspect they're not doing.
Okay.
But...
He doesn't sleep with him. He gives him the sloppy toppy,
No,
right?
he lets him bang him in the
He
butt.
he sloppy tops him, and he lets him...
In the poop door, yeah.
What?
Yeah, in the comics, yeah. And he's like, now I'll be on the 7, right? And then Homelander's like, fuck no. I just wanted to use that booty hole, homie. But yeah, he's going to be played by Jensen Ackles from, what's it called? Supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah. Because, like, are you guys familiar with the comic book arc? Then why'd you keep saying no?
Because you told me about it.
Okay, well, basically, what happens is that, like, all the heroes take a vacation all at the same time. But under the guise of, like, they tell the public there's an intergalactic planetary threat that they all have to go into space for. And that's why all the heroes aren't going to be on Earth. But they all just go to the Bahamas, and there's a whole bunch of, like drugs and, like, super-powered, like, you know, escorts and everything like that can take the pounding that they give them. And basically, it's, like, this big debaucherous thing. And in the comics, Huey actually gets, like, raped, I think, by Black Noir.
The hair?
Yeah.
Wait, why does Huey go there?
Well, because the boys go there to spy on them, to, like, you know, get more dirt on them.
Oh, okay.
And hear, like, the secrets that come out. But yeah, they're, like, Huey's, like, trying to follow someone in, like, the underground, like, sewer tunnels, and then Black Noir just fucking rapes him.
What the fuck? Why doesn't Noir just kill him?
Hey, it's all about the long run stuff, homie.
I mean, seriously, like, he gets cornered by Black Noir. Why wouldn't Black Noir just kill this person?
Because story has to progress.
All right.
Why
you gotta
even put
torture
the
the
rape
characters.
in there then?
That's the comic, dog.
All right.
Dog, listen, the comic book...
It's fine. It's fine.
No, I actually want to talk about this point. Specifically about the boys' comics, and I realize this more with,
This
like,
isn't a boys'
Invincible.
podcast. That's why.
No, it's just that, like, in my opinion, my opinion on the boys' comic itself has changed because I'm realizing how much of their stuff was just, like, done for the sake of being edgy and shock value, and you're just like, that's like sometimes it's done well, really well. Then other times you're like, what was the point of that?
Yeah.
You know, it seems senseless. But anyway, and then I guess like in the comics, like a couple of heroes like overdose and die, and they're like. And they explain, like, oh, how are we going to explain this? It's like, oh, don't worry. We, like, you know, whenever someone dies, we'll just say, oh, they sacrificed their life for the greater good. And then, like, it was a hard-fought battle. This person died. But we came out triumphant. And it makes it believable for the people. And it's digestible. So I can't wait to see what they do. Because I follow some of the actors on Instagram. And they keep talking about how, like, oh, this season's going to be crazy. But do you guys have anything else that you guys have been watching and want to talk about?
No, but speaking of The Boys, the other show that's been compared to the animated superhero show that kids have been watching but probably shouldn't
Definitely.
is Invincible. I know I saw like a trailer for it like a long time ago before it actually came out.
Same.
And I saw it and I was like, oh, okay. It didn't really interest me. Raji said something and he's like, oh, watch the first episode. And then that's when I started watching.
You want to
So-
hear? So what's funny is I had never seen the first episode before, but I go on TikTok and I saw like this basically that ending scene of the first episode.
Yeah.
By the way, spoilers from here on out. There's no
So-
way you can talk about this without spoilers.
We have
Okay.
to give a rating.
On
Invincible.
Invincible, I would give Invincible season 1. I would give it a 9.5 out of 10.
I would give it a 9.
I think I'll just.
No, you can't rate it. You didn't watch it.
Yeah, I did. I watched Invincible, but
You finished
Have you
it?
finished
Yeah, I
it?
finished
You
it
finished it.
When? Last night?
last week.
Whatever, bro.
Whatever.
Dog, fuck you guys. Why are you being hard on me?
Because you were like for the longest time were telling us, yeah, I haven't watched it.
No, well, and it's funny because you told them to watch the first episode, and I'm over there trying to build his computer, and he puts it on, and I'm like, oh well, this is interesting. Whatever. I'm like dead tired. I'd been working the whole day.
Smelled like butt.
And
Couldn't go home.
Yeah, I smelled like butt. I came straight from work.
Oh.
I was building Asel's computer at the time. I just gotten home, or I just got into his house, and I was tired. I was just barely holding on to like the interest in that show when he was showing me that first episode. And then the final scene of that episode came on, and I was like, I have to finish watching this show.
Yeah.
Like, it just hit me. I was like, dang. But yeah. All right. So spoilers, or do you want to talk about?
I like Invincible because for the most part, I really like the voice acting. Like, I feel like they went all out, not trying to get like actual voice actors. They got like actors voicing people like Seth Rogen, Steven Yeun, J.K. Simmons, Jinx, Sandra
Who
Oh.
does Seth Rogen voice?
Alan the Alien. Don't drive with him. He's gonna get
really?
hit by a car. Yeah, Alan the Alien.
Which one's Alan the Alien?
The dude that he fights in outer space. That like Euroth.
Oh, that's right. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then what else? Mr. Krabs, Clancy Brown is
Yeah.
Damien
Walter
Darkblood.
Goggins.
Walter Goggins is what's his name? Cecil.
Yeah.
Who plays Rex? Or who voices Rex?
Oh, Jason Mantzoukas
That's right,
Jason
that
Mantzoukas.
guy.
And then Gillian Jacobs,
is Adam Eve.
Adam
Yeah.
Eve.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they've got a pretty strong, cast.
What's funny is that you can see where the money went because the voice cast is amazing, and the animation at times is like,
I feel like the animation's more of a choice rather than like that's all they could afford. Because I feel like certain animation looks all the same sometimes, or sometimes they try different things. I feel like the animation is more. I compare it to kind of like the DC animated universe, like when it first started, that kind of animation, because I know they switched it up recently, which I'm a fan of. I like it. It's better than the Marvel animation. So
I've never bothered with anything Marvel animated since I was like a kid. I meant like since then I haven't.
well, I'm saying better than the Marvel animated after like the 90s shows, like anything
Yeah.
now. It looks kiddish. But yeah, Invincible's good. So get right into it.
Yeah. Anyway, I liked it too. I had heard about the comic before and how it is, but then I never picked it up because comics are expensive, yo. And not like individually, but like overall, if you want to get a whole story, you literally have to pay like a couple $100, $200 to get a whole like run, basically.
Pretty crazy, right?
But I was scrolling through TikTok, and then that last scene came on. Basically, spoilers from here on out. I recommend the show. Recommend it. Watch it. Please, if you haven't seen the first episode, watch to the end. It looks like the credits are going to start happening, but give it a little bit longer. Anyway, I was on TikTok, and that whole scene came on when Omni-Man comes in, but like specifically, it picks up right as Red Rush gets picked up by Omni-Man. And it was like a reaction video of someone else watching it. And I was like, oh, shit! Dog, like, not to sound like a sensitive bitch, but like that shit, like, that made me feel sick.
It's a tough watch.
It made me feel, and I hadn't gotten any other context before. It was just the scene, and it made me feel sick.
It's for sure one of those tough things to watch. Kind of like the closest thing I can remember is in The Boys when, what's her name?
Starlight,
No, not Starlight.
Queen Maeve.
No. Shockwave? No, what's her name? Storm something?
Stormfront.
Stormfront. When like she was killing those people, like those innocent people, like it was kind of hard to watch. I'm just like, a bit uneasy. It's kind of like that when you watch it the first time. After that, you kind of just like know what's gonna happen, so you don't have the same feeling about it.
Yeah, you get desensitized to that throughout the series until like the last episode.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should know that our silence is genuine because we're just pondering that and like just thinking about
Like,
how that made us feel.
It's just so hard to put into words what you feel after watching that end scene, right?
Yeah.
Because you have a certain, preconception about what heroes are, right?
And like how the world works that they live in.
Yeah, and how the world works and how these things would be organized and what you think people would do in these situations, right?
Yeah.
And part of what the show is trying to do is
Remind you of the reality.
The reality and kind of turn those ideas on its head, and I think it does a great job of it.
It's funny because like specifically that last scene where like Omni-Man's just like punching him through places. Like you see that in shows where people are running away from the debris, and you're like, and you think someone probably for sure died there, but you think that number's all like, oh, maybe 3 to 4. But then you see like that battle scene in Chicago, and they tell you like the death toll. I forget how much, but basically it's a lot. And you see it, how many people died in just that building coming down, and him like getting punched all the way down that big avenue.
Who are you talking about?
When
Nobody knows what you're talking about.
So.
All right, we should probably talk. No, because if you're in
let-
spoilers, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We just did spoilers.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. We're in the spoilers. Like
That's what I'm saying. Who are you talking about? The viewer doesn't know what you're talking about.
We're talking about the fight between Omni-Man and Invincible.
All right,
Yeah.
now let's rewind. And why are they fighting? And who are they?
Okay.
Omni-Man and Invincible.
So
Invincible-
at the end of the first episode, we see what happens, right? And it's
No,
left
you
a
should start from
mystery.
you should start from the first episode, from the beginning of the first episode, is what he's saying. So
No,
basically we
I'm
have-
saying just run through it. Who's Omni-Man? Omni-Man is
He's
the
basically
Superman.
a Super Saiyan.
But he's like the Superman prototype
yeah.
thing.
You could say Omni-Man is Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah, but later on you find out he's actually Super Saiyan, because you remember in
Well,
Dragon Ball Z, that's what
you
the
know
Super
what?
Saiyans are. They conquer.
You know
and
what?
Stuff.
I
Is
just
that
re-
really what it is?
Yeah,
I just
I
re-
didn't know that.
I just realized that what I would compare Invincible is like a superhero anime rather than an animated superhero movie, because it's got that, like you said, the Super Saiyan. It's got all that stuff, and you know, like in the comics, and you later find out that not everybody stays dead. You know,
Yeah.
except for the Guardians of the Globe.
Yeah, but
Rest in
I
peace.
mean, but to give a rundown, so this Superman character, the Superman-like character,
Who's only strong and can fly, and damn near indestructible.
yeah, he's come to Earth. He starts a family. He has a son and a wife, and the first episode goes through his son finally getting powers, and it seems like it kind of like sets a flame underneath the Superman character, and
Yeah.
you know, things kind of start changing for him. You know, something kind of some realization happens in him that you're not really sure about. And once all of that happens, the final scene of that episode, of course, is that he destroys the Justice League, the analog version of that show, right?
Yeah, you know what the worst part is you see them as people, and you're like, oh, this isn't like the boys. These seem like they're good, heroic people. And if there's any flaws, they're farly like
Outweighed
by
by
the good that
by
they do.
they
And their
legitimately
character.
have a purpose that they actually follow. They have morals. It seems like
Yeah,
they're not just in it for the
glory.
glory, the and the money, right?
I think the only one who might would be the Immortal, just because, like, you know what I mean? Like,
He's just gone crazy from being alive for so long.
yeah. But yeah, it's basically that. And fuck, the rough part, right, is after. By the way, I actually personally like the whole, like, when he says Invincible, they like cut to the credits.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm in dun 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 dun
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, in the first episode.
Yeah, that
And then
title
in-
sequence was so long.
And then in the second episode, when it happens, when they play the title sequence, right? And then there's like
The
a
little
splatter of blood on it. I was like, oh, fuck. Every time a little bit more blood would come on, dude.
Yeah.
And I would just be like, fuck.
But yeah, no, the thing is like when, like, you think the show's over and the credits are about to start rolling, but then you're like, oh, is this like a little post credits thing? And it runs through each person, and fuck, man, like specifically like Red Rush, you're like, oh, he has a person, and it humanizes him just that much more, especially when he's like, and it makes his death that much more brutal. He's
Yeah.
like, to me, even like the tiniest, smallest conversation feels like eternity to me, and his girlfriend's like, fuck you then. She's like, but for you, it's like sitting through an orchestra or whatever, and you're like, oh, that's nice and sweet, and then he goes, you're like, shit.
Yeah. And so his death, the time that his death takes, you know, on the show and the runtime is like, it takes like almost 30 seconds for him to die, right?
Yeah.
But if you really think about like what's going through his consciousness, like the speed of his consciousness, that must have taken forever for him to just
It's like
die.
getting your head slowly crushed by a vice, just a little turn by. It's more like you have your head in a vice, and someone turns it like one full rotation every 30 seconds.
Yeah. Which really goes to show just how fast Omni-Man also is, that he was able to catch him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Omni-Man was slower than him, but he was the better, more the better fighter in that sense.
That's true. That's true.
Because he predicted when the next punch would be, so he's like, bah!
Yeah. Because Red Rush does hit him. The punch does land. It's just that Omni-Man caught. He couldn't get out in time. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, Omni-Man tears through basically Wonder Woman, Aquaman.
Finally, some action.
A Green Lantern type character.
Martian Manhunter.
No, he's talking about the Emerald Girl. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
the Emerald Girl. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Green Ghost.
Green Ghost,
Yeah,
whatever.
and then Mars Man was kind of like, he's kind of like a, I don't know, like an Elastic
Martian
Girl. I mean, oh yeah, I guess so.
But like, yeah, different. Anyway, point is he in the comics it's a bloodbath. He takes no damage, but in the show he takes damage. And you're like, oh damn.
Yeah.
Fuck.
He takes no damage in the comics, like 0.
It's just like a ninja assassination. And the Immortal's like, come out, show me who you are before you. And he's like, I knew it was you. I never liked you. And then like he kills.
Oh, he's talking
him.
about Omni-Man.
Yeah,
You have to say that because you assumed you were talking about Martian.
Right. Immortal says like
Yeah.
when Omni-Man's killing them, he's just like because he's doing it from the shadows and they don't even know who killed them. And then the Immortal's like, show yourself. And then like he steps out of the shadows and he's like, I never liked you. And then Omni-Man's like, the feeling's mutual.
Damn. I honestly like the way they did it in the show better.
Yeah.
It
was more exciting to watch.
It was more exciting to watch for sure. And I don't know. I think it lent there was more suspense at the end because Omni-Man doesn't say anything to the Immortal when the Immortal's like, when he's like asking him like, why'd you do it? You know, like. And then he just kills him. He just chops his head off.
Which is why I feel like the casual viewer like goes to the obvious choice, like, oh, maybe they're mind controlled or something, blackmailed. You know, they don't go to what it actually is. I know I didn't. I actually had to look it up like the episode or two before it ended. So
I looked it up a couple episodes after.
Yeah, and I mean for those people that haven't watched it yet, I mean he made it this far, but we haven't.
Also, we're in spoilers anyway. We said spoilers.
Yeah. Damn it! I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I mean, for me, when I was watching the series and I didn't know, why Omni-Man did what he did in that scene, like, I was, of course, like, I think that's, what the show was trying to get you to feel, right? It was trying to get you to wonder, like, what are the motivations for this character? Why are they doing, why did they do this terrible thing when supposedly they're, the one of the champions of the planet, and. So, and slowly throughout the first season, you find out, he's kind of a piece of shit, right?
A little bit, yeah.
And finally at the last episode, you find out that, he's a Super Saiyan. He's there to conquer Earth. Yeah. And, Mark is, not with that.
Yeah. Real quick, I think the thing that set this show apart for me is after the first couple episodes had come out, I looked into like how the show end, like how the comics end and how they go, because I was like, I don't want like another boys comic because there's too many. Like that's the thing that happens is when something is popular, people will take the wrong message or thing about that and extrapolate the wrong thing and just be, oh, that's what it needs to be. And also, Invincible came out before the boys, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, before.
it means the comics.
Yeah, the comics. I mean, obviously not the show, but. The thing that sold it for me was basically that last fight with him and Omni-Man where, like, Omni-Man was, like, punching him, like, what will you have after 500 years? He's like, you, Dad. I still have you. And then looking throughout the comics, all these moments that test Mark's character and his morals and, like, what he believes in. Mm-hmm. And consistently, it's not the easiest thing, and it costs him a lot of the time. And hell, he damn near almost dies anytime he has to choose the right thing, but he always chooses it. And you're like, no, that's what superheroes should do, should be about. Making the hard choice, dealing with the consequences, but still making the right choice.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's when I was like, this show is actually special, and this comic is special, because it's one of the reasons why I like Spider-Man. I mean, reasons why you like superheroes changes when you grow up. But like one of them, like at first it was like because he was cool. Then I was like, oh, it's relatable. He has trouble with girls and like maybe he's like a little broke or whatever, and he's kind of nerdy, whatever, cool. And then later on, you're like, no, it's because like life tests him and puts him in these situations where it's like, hey, listen, you either do what's right or you decide to be happy. and fuck, man, like most of the times he chooses the right thing, except for Spider-Man: One More Day. We're not going to talk about that one though. That's not his fault. That's the comic book writers just wanting to, whatever. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. What did you guys looked up what happens later on in the comics, right?
Haven't. So no spoilers.
Okay, fine, good, because I was about to like just say something real quick that like would spoil it for you.
All right.
I don't actually know if they're gonna do it.
Just spoil it for them.
No.
They changed the way they do it in the comics. It's like different.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's because I don't know if they're gonna
So
do
it's very
it.
50-50. Just say one thing.
Yeah, it's just basically. Don't worry, I'm just gonna tell you the names, but I won't tell you what happens. Basically, Invincible and Anissa. I wonder if they're gonna do that.
No.
I don't think so.
No.
I mean, I feel like it'll have like a same result, but they won't do that.
Because that's one of those tricky things to do because it's a very touchy subject.
That's why I said I think they'll lean into something like that. Like stealing specimen, but I don't think they'll actually do the act.
I don't know.
But even then, it's a long comic, so you really think they'd go for like 10 seasons or anything?
I don't know.
Or they might skip over stuff. So.
They said that they have enough for like 5 to 7 seasons.
But yeah, one part that I also liked was the Flaxen invasion, because it's
Oh yeah.
I feel like it hasn't really been done like an alien invasion with superheroes to that degree, where there's like specifications like, oh, they came back 30 days, but then it's like for them it's been like so and so years.
Yeah, decades and stuff.
The time difference,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty cool, because they invade like 3 times. And
Yeah.
then what is it? The teens?
Yeah.
The teens. They come and try to do what they can because the Guardians of the Globe are still gone.
Yep.
Because I don't think the public knows that they're dead yet.
Nah, yeah, at that point they hadn't known.
So yeah.
Because
And
Omni-Man
then-
was still recovering.
And then at the end, Omni-Man comes and helps on the 3rd final battle, and then takes them into the Flaxen universe, and then just decimates them.
You just commits a genocide.
And I think in time difference, he was gone for like months,
I think so.
because some say like, oh, he annihilated a planet in like seconds. But then I read, or maybe it was in the comics things, so that like they evaluates it longer, because he was gone for months because he had to get them to open the portal so he could leave.
Yeah, that's why he has like the beard and everything.
Yeah.
And his hair's long.
And then for his family, it was like a couple minutes, like maybe an hour that he was gone.
yeah.
So yeah, there's
That's
that.
the nice thing about being a Viltrumite. You age slower. So like basically body chemistry, it's been even less than that for him.
Yeah.
Aside from his hair.
Another part that I found shocking was when the Titan and Invincible try to take down Machine Head,
Yeah.
because
Oh yeah.
he introduces what's his name, Battle Beast.
Battlestar.
Battle Beast.
Battle Beast. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Battle Beast I feel like is an animal version of Thor, because his kind is like that. Their main thing is they want to battle and like prove that they're better, and he like
Butchers them.
He butchers everybody. I mean, the other villains that Machine Head hires are good too, but he butchers everybody. He basically almost kills Monster Girl.
I thought she was
Kills
dead.
Black Samson. Decapitates Invincible. Well, like he smashes him with a.
What's the word? Not eviscerates him.
He bursts
like
him
dead
open.
guts.
He bludgeons him.
Yeah, when I saw that, that was like one of those other moments where I go like, oh, it's a bit
He
too real.
disembowels him, that's
He
what it
disembowels
is.
him. Yeah, it was a bit too real. And then the teams come to team, or they're the Guardians now because they basically upgraded and got more people. But yeah, shit's crazy.
Yeah.
Dog Rexplode having like a threesome with Duplicate. Fuck.
Freaking Rexplode, dude.
Yeah, in the comic, Rexplode is white. So since the voice actor's, a brown man, they made him a bit browner. He looked a little Indian in the show, though.
Yeah.
They did that because like when the comic came out, like damn near all of them were white.
I think my
Really?
favorite character...
Huh.
Amber was too.
Yeah,
Really?
Amber was...
Yeah, they changed her to like be black
because
instead.
of Zazie Beats or whatever his name is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I
Um,
think they probably. I mean, I think Invincible was always half Asian though.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
So,
he was. But I think my favorite character is Robot, because like
Oh yeah.
I find his whole arc interesting, and it plays very vital to like the whole aspect of Invincible, like in the comics too that I've seen. But even in the show, like I find Robot pretty interesting, especially when he gets cloned.
He's kind of like Iron Man now.
He gets
Yeah.
cloned by the Mahler twins.
Oh yeah, you know what? I think Robot Man is like was supposed to be kind of like, what's it called from Doom Patrol?
Cliff Steele. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing too, because the armor's the same,
Yeah.
or the color at least.
But then he just kind of becomes Iron Man.
Yeah.
But imagine Tony, but I feel like he's gonna be like Tony Stark without as much swagger and I think that's all I can say. That's all I can say.
He's like Iron Man if like Tony Stark didn't have any swag at all. He was just like a giant nerd.
Yeah, and I think that's all I can say without spoiling anything else in the comics.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, you could tell there's affection with him and Monster Girl, so that's why he clones himself to about her age. Because Monster Girl loses like a couple weeks or something like that every time she transforms.
Yeah.
And
like
then
the longer she's staying in transformation, like the more she loses.
no, I think it's every time she transforms.
Oh, is it?
I don't know. That's what I remember.
Damn. So you know what? She could probably solve her problem if she just goes to the Flaxen world for a little bit and just never transforms and comes back, huh?
Yeah, that would be a good idea. Anyway, so what I was thinking is that the part at the end, they get that like kaiju monster to fight Omni-Man.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning they're like, oh, let's ice him and then bring him back, and then
They just freaking teleported it to him.
I forget, why is Omni-Man fighting? Did they like teleport it and tell him to go fight it?
No. What they basically did
They were
was
tracking them.
Yeah, they were tracking Omni-Man. They teleported it towards him.
Oh, right. He went home and then he saw all the agents there and slaughtered him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Where is Mark?" to his friend.
Yeah.
Steve? No.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
But yeah, he kills Cecil's right-hand man, and then the house blows up across the street because they were monitoring him.
Yeah, that's where he kills his right-hand man, and the guy presses the button.
He like puts his fingers into his back.
He grabs his fucking spine.
Yeah.
Did you notice when after the explosion, when he opens his hand, it's just like bone fragments coming out?
But yeah, then he goes to find Mark. They release the kaiju, or they transport it with their like, technology.
They threw a bunch of stuff at him. They threw those
the jets too,
and the
Look at
zombie.
oh yeah, the
the zombie
undead,
The
robots?
Reaniman?
the Reaniman. Yeah.
Dog, and then like that big old laser. It's like, bring down the hammer. It's like $29 billion for the world's most expensive nosebleed.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
Yeah, and then the thing that was kind of helping was the kaiju, and then Mark comes by because I don't know if he was looking for his dad or he was just flying, but he was with Adam Eve, and then he starts helping him, and then Adam Eve's like, oh, I gotta help, and then she gets called by Cecil, and it's like, or his mom, and it's like, no, you gotta go with the Guardians, right?
She gets a call from Cecil. Yeah, and she's like, no, you got to go to Guardians HQ.
And then
It's
he
like,
just
what?
wants
It's
the
like, just
Guardians
do
to
it.
stay put, like as a last line of defense.
So what happened to the kaiju? Like after they teleported
tied
it to
it-
Invincible?
They killed it.
No, they tied it up. He tied it up. Invincible tied it up.
Oh, Invincible tied it up.
Yeah, and then that's when he saw that like Omni-Man like had killed and
Oh yeah, because the Immortal wakes up, or because the Mauler twins put him back together and he heals, and then breaks the little thing because they were gonna try to control him for their personal gain. Yeah. And then the Immortal remembers everything. And then I was asking Raji, and then he's like, I was like, does he ever die, or is that just his thing that he keeps coming back? And he's like, what do you think? Because like his name's the Immortal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
They basically tell you, and it spells it out in the show. It's like as long as his head's back on, he can live. Also, in like this, I don't know the context, but he's saving somebody from like a house that exploded, and they're like, your arm, and he's like, it'll grow back later.
yeah.
So, yeah, he's like a starfish.
Nice. He has a pretty good healing factor then. I mean, they all do, but I mean, I don't think that the other characters can regrow limbs.
Well, I mean, what's her name? Adam Eve is kind of like Dr. Manhattan with like her powers,
Yeah.
manipulating atoms and shit.
Oh, yeah.
So,
But she's...
so you take that into account.
I mean, she's like a female,
Female Dr. Manhattan.
Dr. Manhattan?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know, but she doesn't seem to be able to manipulate matter as well as Dr. Manhattan.
I mean, yeah, listen, we have hands, but that doesn't mean we can do brain surgery the next day. You got to train that shit.
I guess so.
So then that's when Mark finds out the Omni-Man, is a Super Saiyan, a world conqueror, and then he's like, join me, and then he's like, no, and then that's when they start fighting. Take that shit to Chicago, and then, there's where the meme comes from, where he's beating his ass. That's just pretty brutal. That's one of those moments where you're kind of like, oh, shit's real, just when he's beating his ass.
And then there's that flashback to when he's a kid.
Yeah.
Also, Sandra Oh's like whole like monologue, like this is humanity. It sounded like some weird like infomercial for I don't know why, but like it literally like it feels like if they had like a immigration agency for like aliens, that they would like play that whole part. This is humanity. Once we get older, blah 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 and blah blah. Like it had that infomercial like cadence to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think that was just maybe like a weird bit of like direction, because it's her basically telling like Omni-Man humanity is this and empathy and whatever, and then like the kids and all that shit. But yeah.
Bro, what are you doing?
I don't know. Something's wrong with my camera. Okay. So to close it out,
Final thoughts, guys.
Omni-Man leaves, and then Invincible like recovers after a while, and then Cecil's like, oh, maybe he'll come back.
Oh,
maybe
real
he
quick,
won't.
actually, before we forget, what about Amber? I don't like the way they fucking wrote her, because the whole like trope of like she doesn't know who he is, so she's pissed off that he keeps running away. I'm fine with it. It's a bit played out at this point, but when the comics came out, it wasn't all that played out just yet. But the thing that pissed me off the most was when he's like, I'm invincible. She's like, I know you're invincible. It's just that you lied to me. I was like, what the fuck?
Right?
I think that was like just a bad bit of writing. Personally.
Maybe they just tried to make it a better transition, so then he'd eventually go with Adam Eve. Because I felt the same way. I'm sure some people did too.
Yeah, but aren't they together again now at the end of the first season?
Yeah.
Well, like
but
I said,
it's-
maybe they're trying
is she
to
like
ease
one
the
of those
transition.
characters that gets whacked out, or what's up?
Listen, I
Uh-oh.
can't tell you anything
Oh,
else.
No.
But
oh,
no.
no.
But no.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, it is.
At least not while they're dating. That's all I know.
But yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of Amber because I feel like when she was with Mark, it was to like prove a point or something. I don't know. Like it felt like, I don't know. It just felt weird. In plain words, what it felt like is she wanted to be with him so then she could yell at him and like kind of manipulate him or control him, like by going like, oh, I'm tired of this and that. Like I feel like she just wanted somebody to bitch to. I don't know.
I think she liked him, and she probably just forced that relationship early on a bit too much. Like he was kind of interested, but she's like, you're kind of cute, whatever. And then like he was like, okay, cool, we're in a relationship.
I feel like it was one of those things where she wanted a pet project to see like, oh, I can change him or something.
I think she wanted more commitment than Mark wanted to give, personally.
Or could give.
But I mean,
It's
if
not
she
even
knew that he
crooked.
was invincible, I don't, I think
What
that's
was he
her
gonna
fault
do? He's
as
gonna
well.
be like, babe, I'm invincible, but I'm still gonna run out on you anytime.
Look, I feel like she had just as much responsibility
calls.
knowing as he did knowing and not telling her.
I mean, to an extent, he should have.
The extent that I'm talking about is,
you can't tell.
He could have broken up with her. Is all I'm gonna say. Is if
Well,
he
yeah.
can't do that, and like.
well, what I'm going to
listen-
say is that she could have broken up with him knowing that and gone like, oh, this is too much. I don't want to deal with it.
women will do anything but leave.
I mean, they leave.
Yeah.
That was a joke. That was a joke, guys. But seriously, she could have left. You're right.
Yeah.
Like, why is it all Mark's fault? Because she could have just said, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what's funny is there's a lot of like Amber slander, but I think some of it like kind of misses the point. You know what I mean? But I guess my point is just that ultimately it's the writer's fault for, because I think them writing like I knew you were invincible the whole time was like to like escape the trope of like, oh, what, I didn't know. But yeah. Anyway, any final thoughts, guys?
Watch Invincible.
I agree.
9.5 out of 10.
9.5 out of 10. All right. Well, this has been the Overanalyzer, and as always, we'll do our booze/small gift, no more than $20, please. Give away to each one of our friends. Jose, who do you nominate?
My friend Adriana, if you're listening to this, I owe you some drinks, all right?
All right. What's the code word? Let's decide on a code word right now. 1, 2, 3.
These nuts.
Vincible.
Invincible.
Like, no, that's dumb. These nuts is better. No, I mean, no one says these nuts anymore, so these nuts is good. All right, for me, I will have to choose Jonathan, our friend Jonathan. Fuck it. If you made it this fucking far, I'll buy you something of $20 or equal value.
Oh, yeah. $20.
What about you, Hassan?
Cap.
If the Fiend says these nuts, then I will give him or her drink of their choice. The Fiend, if you know who you are.
Cool. All right. Well, that does it for this episode of the Overanalyzer. As always, like and subscribe and share this podcast. This podcast is only available on YouTube because that's the easiest place for us to upload. And yeah, hope to see you next time. The next time we find something worth watching and talking about. Have a good day, good night, good evening, wherever you are, whenever you are. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bum.